This episode of Profiles in Risk is brought to you by InsurTech Connect Las Vegas. The legendary ITC is coming back to Vegas October 14 to 16 at the Mandalay Bay Casino. ITC is the largest InsurTech conference in the world by a long shot and the absolute cannot miss event of the year. We never miss it, neither should you. Register today using our discount code INSNerd200. Again, that's INSNerd200 and see you in Vegas, baby. And when you're there, look for me. I'm the guy with the red top hat and ask me for a magic trick. Hello and welcome to Profiles in Risk. This is your host, Tony Cañas, the sleep-deprived and heavily caffeinated as usual. Right now, in my native Costa Rica, visiting my mom for her 65th birthday. Hopefully, and this is the second episode I record during this trip. Hopefully the noise won't get in our way. Things do tend to be noisier here because the windows are not weathered. They're not double pane. Because the weather is beautiful, so it does tend to be loud sometimes. And my mom lives right in the city. All right, so today we have with us Lucas Roberts, wholesale broker at Anzen Insurance. That's Anzen like ANZEN. Lucas, thank you for joining me today. How's it going?
It is going good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, and on LinkedIn, it looks like you are in River Falls, Wisconsin, which sounds to me like Wisconsin near Minnesota. Am I correct in that?
That is correct. Very close to the Twin Cities, St. Paul, Minneapolis area.
Fantastic. Okay, perfect. So we're recording on July 21st. I'm guessing Wisconsin is beautiful in the middle of summer.
It's very nice. Yeah, it's definitely very different from the other time of the year. In wintertime, it gets very cold. There's a reason why people like to migrate to warmer places like Atlanta, Arizona, places like that. The winters up here are not for everybody.
Okay, perfect. All right. We always the winters here in the Midwest, in the upper Midwest, not for everybody. It's an understatement. I survived 10 years in Iowa, which is as bad as Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan kind of thing. So yeah, that's an understatement. All right. You always give the guest the chance to give the elevator pitch. What is Anzen Insurance?
Thank you, Tony. Anzen Insurance answers the question, what would happen if you take the best technological solutions available and couple them with world-class brokers? You get Anzen Insurance Solutions. We are a wholesale brokerage. We specialize in things like management liability, cyber liability, errors and emissions, allied healthcare, specialty commercial insurance products. So we go to the market on behalf of our clients, the agents, work with our carrier partners to provide the best, most competitive solutions for our clients.
Okay, so cyber specialty commercial, E&O, D&O. What else generally goes through you guys?
Yep. Employment practices liability is a big one right now. People that are concerned about harassment, discrimination claims, either coming from inside the company or outside. We write a lot of those as well.
Okay. So there's a lot of wholesale brokers out there. I have to give my disclaimer. I'm not an agent. I've never been an agent. I've always been a carrier side guy. I'm a carrier side guy who ended up accidentally running the largest podcast in the insurtech space. I have worked with agencies and MGAs a good amount as an underwriter, as a sales manager or marketing rep, and nowadays as a as a recruiter. But I've never been the agent calling a wholesaler. I never worked at a wholesale office. All right. So in the wholesale space, my understanding, you've got a couple of like very, very major players, right? So there's Amwins, there's CRC, there's RT Specialty, there's RTS kind of thing. And then nowadays you have a whole bunch of like tech first plays. So where in that ecosystem does Anson fall? Let's start with like, is it one of the very new insurtech MGAs? Okay. So how long ago was
Well,
Anson?
so we're not an MGA, so we're not doing the underwriting,
Okay.
right? We are doing the brokering. So we have carriers that there. So in the specialty commercial insurance world, there's a lot of carriers who are wholesale only. They only
Uh-huh.
work with wholesale distributors, right?
Yeah.
So we are able to, because we're wholesale, are able to work with those type of specialty markets to get our clients terms that they may not otherwise have access to.
Okay.
So we're like think of us as like an agent for an agent. So you
Yeah.
used like RT Specialty, Burns and Wilcox, CRC. Those are other, yeah, like more prominent wholesale brokers, and that's our model as well. Although we try to distinguish ourselves by the different technological advantages that we have, um, and how we can incorporate that with our retail clients' technology to help them move even faster.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So how old is Anson?
We got started in 2020. We did actually get started. You mentioned the MGA. We did get started in 2020 as an MGA, but as of 2023, we are strictly doing wholesale brokering now.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So it is truly one of the new tech first
Yes.
plays. Okay. Perfect. So tell me about the tech. So if I'm a broker and I get, a difficult to place risk that requires E&O or D&O or EPLI or just a very specialized commercial lines play that I don't have a good market for, and I already have some relationships with wholesalers, why should I try Anson?
So what's really cool about what I've been brokering for a while. My old job, one of the hangups that we had as brokers was the antiquated technology that we had to use. Everything was out of our inbox, our Outlook. We had to keep track of all of our accounts on spreadsheets, things like that. It's very easy for human error to creep in and screw up the entire process. The technology we're using allows us to, so like when I get a submission from, let's say you were my retail, you're like, hey, I have this account, need you to go to market for me. I'm able to get it to market very quickly. Our software is able to analyze the submission data very quickly, target the carriers that are going to be most likely to write that account competitively. With a click of a button, I can send to all those markets. And then some of those carriers, and we're continuing to establish more and more API relationships where they're starting to automate a lot of the easier, smaller stuff. And it's complemented by our technology. So we can take that underwriting information, it's automatically submitted through the API. The quotes are automatically generated. So I can, you give me like a cyber submission, I can in a minute have bindable quotes ready for you. And
Wow.
that's becoming more and more carriers are, yeah. So we just move a lot more nimbly than our competitors, I would say, which allows me as your wholesale broker to be more available to talk through policy analysis. If you need me to, like, hey, Lucas, I don't really work with employment practices liability. I want to present this option, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to field all of the crazy questions that my insured might have because I just don't work with this product very much. I'm more than happy to hop on those calls with you and be your sidekick, answer those questions that your insured might have that you're not comfortable to answer. Because I live and breathe these products, and I respect the fact that most of my agents are working with the property, the general liability, the workman's comp, the commercial auto, right? They don't have the necessarily capacity to also understand the
Mm.
nuances of these specialty products. So the
And,
technology allows me to be more human and to be more
perfect.
available and help my
So,
clients in any way.
so at a traditional broker, the person might fluently speak the lines of business, but if they're drowning in crappy tech and manual
Yes.
processes, that makes it very hard for them to quickly, accurately get me help, and makes it very hard for them to give me time when their time is getting eaten up by crappy processes, crappy technology. That makes
That's a perfect encapsulation of the dilemma, right? So like my old job, I can't tell you how many man hours I lost just by doing data entry stuff. Like I couldn't just take the quote letters and put them in our, like I had to manually type all this info, lists, retentions, endorsements, had to copy paste all this stuff to our quoting system. It just ate up a lot of time. So yeah, frees us up to be more available and help our clients get these proposals across the finish line.
all right. That makes perfect sense to me. Okay, fantastic. Uh, okay, specialty insurance powered by expert class AI, unmatched speed, market access, 100 plus years of underwriting insights from application to bind, access to D&O, EPLI, identity, fraud, crime insurance, kidnap and extortion, fiduciary liability insurance, cyber insurance, TKNO, professional liability. Fantastic. Interesting. I find it interesting that the website talks about the benefits for brokers and the benefits for policyholders. I never thought that the policyholder is at all affected by which wholesaler I go through. So what is the benefit?
Well, think about if well, so the policyholder can be more aware of what's going. One of the things we're building out is the ability to, like how when you order a pizza from Domino's, they have the pizza tracker. You can tell what stage your pizza is in. Is it being prepared? Is it in the oven? We're getting ready to launch that for our process as well. So agent and even the policyholder would be able to, if the agent wanted to give that, they needed that information, they can see what stage the submission is in. So they could, instead of the old way where you just kind of wait on your wholesale broker, and if God forbid you get lost in the mix, you're the one trying to chase down your wholesale broker. Well, this way you can actually see the entire process and see that your account is getting worked on and fully submitted, most competitive options becoming made available. Yeah, very cool stuff.
All right. All right. All right. What is Satori intelligence?
That's the AI aspect. So Satori is our proprietary uh, technology information. So our CTO is an MIT graduate. This isn't his first tech company that he's helped build.
Is
Uh,
is
he
is he Japanese?
No, he's from Mexico actually.
So why the name
Uh,
Satori?
that's a good question. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the
Okay,
answer.
yeah. So tell me about Satori intelligence.
Yeah, so it's he say, the AI is a very important component of what we do. So it helps us analyze. Like one of the things that we're able to do is offer that policy coverage analysis. In insurance, especially in the claims made world, not all of the policy language matches very well. Everybody has their own definition of claim. Everybody has their definition of wrongful act. So using AI to help provide that analysis and point out the differences so people become more comfortable and understand better. When I'm looking at an employment practices liability quote from Berkeley or a Lloyd's program or whatever, instead of getting really lost in the weeds and having to read hundreds of policy documents by myself, having something like the AI available to make it more readable, and an AI that's designed to read policy language.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. All right. All right. So you joined Anson just a few months ago. Prior to that, you spent a good 4.5 years at a major admitted carrier, and then almost 4 years at uh at a wholesale brokerage. I'm guessing Bridge was a wholesale brokerage. Uh,
So before Anson, I was at Bridge Specialty, the brokerage, and then before that was the carrier Travelers.
Perfect. Okay, so you've been a career underwriter. Um, what brought you from carrier underwriting to the wholesale brokerage space?
Yeah, I wanted to join the dark side. So underwriting, and especially underwriting for a carrier like Travelers, is really cool. Very well-known brand. They have excellent training. I was really, really, really grateful to have the opportunity to learn how to underwrite there. Part of being a traditional carrier is sometimes you have very traditional underwriting appetites. So there were a lot of interesting accounts that would come across my desk, but because they fell out of appetite, it didn't matter how I wrote it up to get approval to quote. Because this is a class or this is, whatever about the account, we just don't want to write it. We don't want to consider it. So then whoever approached me, my broker, my agent, they would always end up finding a solution. They would find an underwriter, a carrier who was creative enough to provide a solution for that client. And I started getting jealous of my wholesale brokers who had these specialty markets that they could go to. It's like, well, why do they get to, find a solution? Why do they get to, get to the end of these stories? And I always get left hanging with either very vanilla, simple accounts. Like I wanted a better challenge. So I eventually had the opportunity to go to the wholesale broker side and start doing that, start taking a submission. And it didn't matter if a bunch of underwriters didn't like it and decline it. I still had to work that account and find a solution. And that was much more satisfying than being the underwriter who was hampered by the underwriting appetite and had to decline all the time.
All right. All right. And once you get the wholesale, I'm guessing you loved it, but you were frustrated by the tech.
The tech was a very frustrating aspect of it. So I was kind of shocked that even in 2022, 23, still using spreadsheets to keep track of accounts. If I wanted to send an account to 10 markets, I had to create 10 emails manually to send to the 10 markets. It's like, don't we have a better way to do this? I didn't think another option existed. I was like, well, we're in a very highly regulated industry, insurance, and maybe there's just, we just can't create these type of solutions like you can in other industries. So I was like, well, I guess we're just stuck with trying to do the best job we can with bad tech. But then I found Anzen. I was like, oh, that's actually not the case.
Fantastic, fantastic. When it comes to getting appointed with Anson, what does the process look like, and are there any commitments? Like, do I have to promise a certain amount of volume, or I'll lose my appointment? How does that work?
No, it's very simple. We work with lots of different sized agencies. So no, we don't try to start the relationship off by like, all right, you're going to give me, 250,000, premium written, like, no, like we always try to, we're young, up and coming, right? We want to write with people who are looking to grow themselves, and we're open to customize and change. So yeah, we have very large agencies we work with. We also have very small mom and pop shops we work with as well. Just people who value having a subject matter expert handy and enjoys the technological solutions we provide. That's who we want to work with.
All right, fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Lucas, thank you so much for your time today. The wholesale space is, yeah, a fascinating part of our industry. You guys get to work with really interesting risks, and it's weird because you're a middleman, and middlemen are a cost on the system. At the same time, you provide expertise that not every Main Street agent has, that is radically important to be able to write much needed insurance for more difficult to write risks. I am
100%.
glad to hear that we are now building wholesalers that have modern technology. Because often more specialized areas of the industry are the ones that are still kind of like chisel And
Oh, yep.
so interesting.
Or using the rating calculator, you have to like fidget to get the rate. Yeah.
More
No,
specialty.
and actually, if I
Where do
could
you find that
just
stuff?
speak to, yeah, if I could just speak to that middleman value add, right? Because like, so people think of wholesalers as being, an easy way to access more markets. And that's definitely, that's what we do, right? As wholesalers, we're able to access markets that retail agent is not going to have access to. But I think our value add goes far beyond that. I mentioned hopping on calls with clients to talk to their insureds about the options we're providing. Being able to read and understand these policy in a way that we can provide that expertise to our agents so that they get more comfortable with these products. If people think of us more as their subject matter expert partner, instead of trying to add a D&O, E&O guy for the agency who can be that local subject matter expert for them, if they'd rather partner us with us and rely on us to provide that for them. That's what we're looking to do. We're not just trying to be an order taker, market access point. We want to provide real value to their proposal process and everything that they're doing for their clients.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time today and for helping me learn a little more about the wholesale space and about the technology now being used in the wholesale space. Tell my fellow Latino CTO, I'm not a CTO, but I am fellow Latino, that I am very curious about him choosing assuming that it was him that chose it, a Japanese name. There must be a story behind it. So I'd love to have him on the show to tell that story. And thank you so much for your
Yeah,
time.
I'll have to let him know. Yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks for having me, Tony.
Thank you.